I was just telling her about my Taco Bell experience, and wife got off pretty late from work, 12:30. She hadn't eaten.
Okay.
She's like, I'm gonna pick up some Taco Bell.
Gonna go for that fourth meal. That's what they call it, right? The late night.
That's right. Yeah, the fourth meal. Yeah,
that
yeah.
was an ad campaign.
They were like the late night munchie one. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I actually did smoke, and that's why she said she was gonna pick it up. And I was like, I'll have some too.
It's perfect.
I already had dinner, but it seemed like a good idea. And then now this morning we both woke up just feeling all sorts of like mistaken,
Yeah.
But it happens. No.
I mean, Taco Bell sober is never a good idea. I know you said you smoked, but like even that,
it's risky.
Soberish. I'm saying like unless you are blackout drunk, it's pretty gross.
It is kind of true. And I usually get it when I've been drinking.
Yeah.
For sure. But
as most Americans.
But then also when I got the munchies, sometimes it's just like
sometimes
perfect. They just like made it and
but
it's
you know
fresh.
What? The hits, they keep on coming.
Yeah, they do. About every 15 minutes today.
Oh my God.
It's just like loose air at a certain point, man.
Thanks
I'm just
for making it in. And,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Turns out I have IBS.
But listen, you could have lost your life based on what we're seeing in the news.
Yeah.
I mean, you're lucky to be alive with this E. coli outbreak.
Thank God we didn't choose McDonald's. If we would have went to Don's, it would have been over. Quarter pounder with cheese.
Y'all, can you imagine if you died because you ate McDonald's? Like, what a sad way to go. R.I.P. to that one person. But like,
that is sad. Yes.
Sorry to bring it down.
Sorry to all 50 people affected and over,
I'm not laughing. I'm sorry.
It's really not okay, actually.
Not okay.
No, it is sad, but also like, didn't something like this happen with Burger King too back in the day?
All the time it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
It happened with Jack in the Box. I think they're still trying to come back from it. That was like in the 80s or 90s. They killed a bunch of children.
It's fucked up.
These are the hard topics we like to cover here. I'm here for the hang.
Hard-hitting news.
I just... Like, that could have been me. I eat McDonald's all of the time.
Do you really?
Yeah, not the quarter pounder.
No. What's your go-to?
My go-to is a Happy Meal.
That's Britt's go-to as well.
The little tiny burger.
Yeah.
It's a perfect size for me. And it brings me a nostalgia, a childlike happiness. But I don't just stop with the Happy Meal. I also have to get the chicken McNuggets.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm a variety gal. So I need that little burger and I need the chicken, and I can never decide between the two. So when you're getting the Happy Meal, it's just like a little bit, a little burger. So you don't have to feel
a little bit of
guilty.
each. And then like a 4-piece chicken McNug.
I usually go for the 6. Let's see. Look, I'm a growing gal.
I get it. 6 is right.
But
6 is the right move. That's a good number.
It's good. You want to keep,
That's the number.
This is what makes me feel better about it, y'all. Paris Hilton eats McDonald's all the time.
Does she?
You know this?
No, I did not.
I eat McDonald's. I love it. It's amazing. I eat it several times a week. Seriously, I heard her say this. Yeah. She says it on her reality show too.
Okay.
But I heard it, and she like goes through a McDonald's drive-through in her reality show. But on the reality show that I was on with her, Cooking with Paris.
On Netflix.
Episode 3, season 1.
I saw it. You did great.
Thank you. So, we filmed that at her house.
Yeah.
And in her like Beverly Hills, Mulholland Estates, nice house.
So cool.
She has in the glass canisters in the kitchen, McDonald's sauces.
What?
Like the individual sauces, like in glass jars, like honey mustard, ranch, hot mustard. Like she really does eat it.
Is she like sponsored by them, do you think? Or
No.
is it more of like she just
love it. I love it. Hot people eat it. It's amazing.
Paris, do you have your
So
assistant
small.
go to the McDonald's to get a bunch of sauces, or how does that normally work?
I'm sure somebody's refilling
That's
the
someone's
sauces.
job.
That is literally like some assistant's job once a week. They just got to roll through the drive-through.
Cruise in there.
And
I'm gonna
just
need
ask
50
for,
of each.
Yeah.
Like for real.
But she really does eat it. And like, so
awesome.
That day, whenever that came up, because in the episode we do eat like hamburgers and fries.
Yeah.
And so she had the sauces like on the table or whatever. And then Whitney Cummings is also in the episode with us.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
We all love Whitney. Big fan.
Huge fan.
We love her. Future guest of the pod. Manifestation. No, so Whitney was like, oh my God, I can't believe you really eat McDonald's. You with that body, you look like this and you eat McDonald's. And Paris just looked at Whitney and she goes, I'm sorry. Because it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
She honestly does. Because as your Taco Bell story, look, it runs right through you. You don't have to worry about working it off.
No, it's like kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's like if food was dust, you know what I mean? Like you eat it and then it just kind of, it's like you didn't eat anything.
Yeah.
But you're full for a little bit.
They're just chemicals. It's
weird.
not actual food.
And why is it only the quarter pounder that has it? I'm confused.
Well, I'm confused
the
about
other
that too.
burgers don't, like the other meat that they have.
And they said, listen, I don't follow a lot of news, okay? But I do whenever it involves McDonald's in the headline. And I did happen to read this
It's your favorite meal.
It is. And I was like, wait a second. Am I safe with my Happy Meal? Okay, good. Because like within the last week, I've eaten a cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's like since all this has happened.
Dude. I love their burgers though.
And it's not the actual meat. They said it was the slivered onions.
Oh,
but
okay.
What makes the slivered onions on the quarter pounder different than the little? Because that's what I like about it too. Like on the burger, it's like little teeny, tiny little onions.
Yeah. They chop those up.
Yeah.
So they don't chop them back there then? Or they must?
Apparently not.
No. So, because there are onions on other burgers that they have, but they're bigger onions.
Yeah,
so these
why
come
is
pre-packaged, cut up.
The slivered.
Dude, because they cross-contaminate everything. It's like a part of our...
You're still burping up TV right now,
Oh, dude, I didn't want you to notice that. I'm trying to hold it back, but I almost let it rip. I didn't because, it's being filmed, but...
That's okay.
And audio. Some ASMR real quick of me burping.
We're going to have our editor just bump it up. Alex, if you could turn that up at minute
just turn
9.
my mic up a little bit right there, please.
We're kidding. I just want to go, yep, on it.
Yeah.
No, we want to.
Always on it. Yeah, no, E. coli, scary.
But you know that you can get E. coli from things. Sorry to stay on this gross topic, but you can get it not even from meat. Like you can get it from those bagged salads at the store.
Yeah.
That's why it's always better to get fresh salad because the bagged salads are made in these factories where they package the meat and sometimes they're downstream of like some things that have run off your cattle.
Yeah.
In that leaf. Because I remember seeing a documentary and like this girl died of a salad. Which
I've seen that same one.
That's also
I forget what the documentary is called. But yeah, no, that's
you're
real.
Trying to be healthy and then you die of a salad. Like what a bad...
It's the agricultural system, man. We all they're just massive. We just have one specific crop that's just booming in one section of the country. Mm-hmm. And we're either exporting it outwardly or we're just like having, one state focuses on one crop, give it to and sell it out and distribute it.
Yeah.
And if something goes down there, it's a problem. It's also like you said, like
I
the
love
poo.
It. It's not a problem.
The poo going
I eat
down.
It 4 times a week. It's so good.
I don't know. I'll still eat it.
There's not much you can do. There used to be this book called Fast
Not
Food
now.
Nation.
I'll wait a little bit. I have to reestablish trust in McDonald's for...
We'll let it clear out.
Give it a year.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
There's this book, Fast Food Nation, that everybody was like, if you read this book, you'll never eat fast food again. Read it, still eat it to this day. Yeah. Understand all the horrors. I'm rolling the dice.
Yeah,
I've
seen as you should be. You got to take the risks sometimes.
I mean, we've both worked in enough restaurants to know, like, it really doesn't matter where you're eating. It can be fast food. It can be the fanciest restaurant. It's all gross. Like,
yeah, I mean,
that's why, I never understand what people, they ask me questions like at the table.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to be honest. Like, first of all, I don't know the answer to many of their questions. Can we just get into this too? I'm coming from work and that's why I look like a grease factory.
Are you straight out of work right now?
I'm straight out of work.
Good
right
for
now.
you.
Like literally this is steak grease
Killing
and
it.
hamburger grease that's like in the air. Because I work at a McDonald's and we're doing our best, y'all. We're doing our absolute best, and I don't cut the onions. No,
they come prepackaged.
It's it's not a McDonald's, but there is grease in the air, and
but you guys got good ingredients. You guys got good ingredients.
Yeah,
there.
Without saying the name, because
I
don't want to get me fired.
I forgot where you worked already.
Totally, I'm not going to mention it.
I feel like there's some quality farming coming in from there. It's like all organic and local, I would imagine.
But
it doesn't have to travel a far distance.
Yeah, people are always asking me questions about stuff, and you guys know that the waiters, the waitresses, we're just bullshitting at the table. Like,
they don't know that, though.
You know that, right?
I don't know.
I am not paying attention enough to care or know about, this is just the episode. I just get fired because this podcast, they're like, we told you in pre-shift where the produce comes from. No, they line us up.
Nothing like an uptight.
They talk about it.
Manager.
There's a lot of info in this head already, and it's swirling around. And frankly, I don't have time for whenever the fish changes. Like, people ask me what's the kind of fish in the tacos. I always just say grilled swordfish.
You couldn't work at the restaurant that's in the Bear. There would be no chance.
Yeah, no,
you'd be like, I'm not remembering
couldn't.
any of this shit that you're saying to me.
No.
Jeremy Allen White.
Listen, it's in one ear and out the other, because I'm just trying to calculate which of my bank accounts is negative and how can I fix it by pulling from the other one and taking this from that. Like, that's all that's going on in my head at any given point.
Yep. How much money do I have to make today in tips to make sure that this makes sense for me to be here?
Exactly. And people ask you questions, like the dumbest question is always like, what would you get between the fish tacos and the hamburger? It's like, well, those are two different things.
Yeah, no, I mean,
what do you want me to say? Like, the salad guy looks a little hungover today. Is that the info you're looking for?
Yeah, but that's good.
He's doing the tacos over there on the salad line. I don't know. Like, is that was confusing because people don't know that they make the tacos on it. It's because they're lettuce wrapped.
They got to separate everything. Allergies, it's very clean environment where you work. Yeah. Not necessarily all environments. We worked in a place where it was, they probably got an F, but they had up in the window, they had an A. You know what I mean?
They definitely
they
did not earn that A. They did not come by it in honest means.
I saw some cockroaches. You know what I mean?
We had first of all, can I just say this? Any Mexican restaurant, which is what we worked at, has cockroaches. And it's surely for the fact that the tortilla chips, remember, that was where we got off, because there's crumbly tortilla chips everywhere. And that might as well be cockroach food. Like, that is just straight about everywhere you look, salt.
I forgot that was the reason until you said that. Now I have a visual of it, and I'm just thinking to myself, why?
Do you remember that drawer, that like heated drawer that the tortilla chips were in?
Yeah.
And then underneath that, like at night, this is so disgusting.
You would eat it?
If you had whenever they would take it to finally dump it, because it gets dumped like once per day.
Right.
And they would pull it out, and they would just be like, and they would just like scatter, because they were all underneath the tortilla drawer, like just taking the crumbs and just enough to like form a little mariachi band. And they were just like, like run off in their separate corners. And that is any Mexican restaurant. Like, you could clean it. It could be the cleanest. You could have an A in the window. It does not matter.
Don't trust the letters.
Don't trust the letters. Whenever you go out for Mexican, if they have tortilla chips, they have cockroaches.
Oh, but they're so good, the tortilla chips.
But do you remember that we had that one guacamole?
That had the crickets. People ate it.
Okay.
That was a popular item for a second.
So what kind of food? That's Oaxacan. There's a Oaxacan tradition where you have, what is the Mexican name for it? Chicharrones or something?
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm not going to attempt it because I do not remember.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Sounds like cockroaches. No, but they had like little grasshoppers in this guacamole, and it was supposed to be like a gimmick because you can eat these. It's like Oaxacan street food.
Yeah, it's like a delicacy.
But people would come in and they would take pictures of that, and then they would put it on our Yelp review as if we had bugs in the food.
Yo.
And then so people had to stop they took that off the menu because they were like, all right, people are confused about what this means. there's bugs in the dip. It's just not a good look.
Yelp reviews, man, brutal.
But that way, it's smart on their part because that way, like if a cockroach or two does get in, you know, we're like, well, that's part of it. I mean, that's the delicacy.
That's part of doing business.
Just go to the Oaxacan streets and you'll find that on every corner.
Yeah.
I think I've seen Anthony Bourdain eat one or two.
Oh, have you? That makes sense.
Yeah, he was
He's
always
going around doing
like
what the locals do and eat. And yeah, it's cool.
They have,
it's a great show.
You know, houseflies on skewers in a lot of the places he went to, but that was part of it.
Part of it.
Part of it. R.I.P.
Gotta do it. Yeah. R.I.P. Yeah.
Can we talk about other restaurant stuff? Because it's like it's swirling in my brain.
Well, you were saying that you feel like they don't really care if you know or not. Like basically, like they don't know that if you know what the better thing to get is or what ingredients in that. And it's like,
I just don't understand.
Probably not responsible of you, firstly, you know, like.
But why do people think that we care? Like, everybody wants to have this long conversation.
It's just like exciting to talk about the food. Like we go out, my wife, she every time without fail asks between two things, which should I get? She was doing it in Italy and we don't speak Italian. And like the Italian waiter's like, what? Like, what are you saying? And she's like, points it out. And then then it's like, you know, gets to the point where it's like, never mind. Like, we're good. And, you know, thank you.
They probably haven't eaten it. I mean, if it's like my place, we're not allowed to eat it. So are you asking me what tastes good over a trash can in the back whenever somebody sent it back and it's cold and it was made wrong?
You're like, no one's left that on the line yet. Sorry, I'm not sure.
Like that's the kind of information that I have to give.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a mistake or somebody's like, this fish tastes bad, I'm sending it back. Like maybe I've tried that one, but like, I don't know. It's funny whenever they pick something very expensive on the menu and they're like, how's the lobster? And they just like look at you and I'm like, I've never had that in my life. Like, especially
at lunch. What are you doing, guys?
No, but nobody's tasting. Nobody's like providing a tasting meal for us before we go out there on the floor.
Really?
No. And if I've had it, they'll do it once. They'll put it down. Everybody will have one bite. And if you're not there that day that they talk about whatever new thing, then you never got it.
It's like word of mouth at that point.
It is.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's
just cook them a meal so they can all share it.
Well,
what the hell, dude?
This is the thing. We just don't have the time. And I don't have the time to talk about people's like order during the lunch rush, you know? And I hate whenever people do this a lot too. You remember this from working. They'll flag you down.
Oh boy, yeah.
They're flagging you down like this. Excuse me. And then you get over there and they're like, all right, let's see here. What are we gonna get? And it's like, oh, you don't know? I'll be right back. Like, I will not. I'm like, oh, take a moment with it. Because I've got 10 things in my head. I'm not going to stand here while you peruse the menu.
Right.
You've been sitting here with it for 20 minutes.
Have a pointed question, pretty much.
Everybody in LA wants to talk about their diet. I don't know if they want to get brownie points from the other people at the table.
Could be that.
But
there's a lot of like... I don't know. People feel like virtuous when they're vegan or whatever. Yes. And it's just like, get over yourself. Like, that's really weird that it's so tied up in your identity.
It's
do what you do. Respect.
Yeah.
But also like, don't be that person.
Don't ever be that person. Like, do you think that I would care at all if you got fries or if you got salad? And this is the most common thing that people will do. They're like, I don't know. Should we get it? Okay, so I have been trying to be really good all week. But you know what? I'm gonna have a cheat day. Later, I'm actually going to Pilates and I'm gonna, you know what? We're gonna do the fries. Like, what do you think I'm gonna do with all this information?
It feels like an LA thing for sure. Or like a major city thing. I don't know.
I'm just like this. I'm like standing at the table like, okay, oh, no, not fries. Okay, like people are flagging me down. It's a rush.
Be decisive.
Yes, know what you're going to get.
Yep.
Like this is the same with bartending.
It's the same thing. You want to know what the drink, like especially when it's busy, you have to have the awareness. I want to know what your drink is. You want me to throw you in an aperitivo? You guys want an appetizer?
Yeah.
What do you want? The guacamole with crickets is bomb.
I love how you said aperitivo. It was so fancy. Hey, somebody's been to Italy.
Hey,
listen.
That's the only one I know. That's the only word.
Do you remember bartending where there's just like a group of drunken girls and they always... Well, your eyes lit up. No,
No.
it's like
Oh, the good old days.
they
No, I'm
always like want to survey the group of what everybody's drinking. Hang on just a second.
Right.
What are you having? Okay, wait.
Yes.
Amber, what are you getting?
Yes.
Ashley, what do you? It's like
Pulling
you
up
guys
to the bar.
figure this out.
Yep.
And I'll be back.
100%. Pulling
Because
up. Yeah.
This dude at the end of the bar is just gonna say beer, and he's got his money in his hand. Like
100%.
I'm gonna go down to him. I'm not gonna like fuck with this situation.
It's like it's always you tend to be younger ladies, fresh into being 21
Always.
drinking age. They want to, like, one of them will pile at the end of the bar, a busy bar. You know, someone's in the well getting their ass kicked, and then the bar top is busy, and then they'll pop in between two people, one in the front, four in the back, doing a relay of information, talking about which one do you like?
Yeah,
like,
it's like, what does it matter? It is poison in a glass. Okay, just choose it.
Sometimes it's nice.
Choose your garnish. No. Let's move it along. The bar is 5 deep.
Yeah, I mean it's an awareness thing, man.
Nobody's
but also
aware of
like
how busy people are.
Yeah, but that's the thing about working in the hospitality industry.
And time is money in the restaurant industry.
Time is money. I think, I mean, I worked in hospitality for 10 years. I learned a huge amount of my work ethic from that. How to deal with people, how to talk to people, reading people. Like, there's a huge benefit that comes from it. And then to see it from work and communicate with people that are guests coming in, and see it on the flip side where they have no sense of awareness and are all like, tied up into what's happening in the little bubble of the table.
Yeah.
Is very funny, and then it like spawns out into like, some restaurants are like, you're a server, you're making good money, but are you making, the money that it costs to sit at that table on a daily basis or whatever the fuck? And then you got these rich people coming in, handing out money to get an expedited crab cake. You know what I mean? Right. It's like Elon handing out $1 million donations.
Oh my God. Okay. You told me about this.
Dude, so
news story.
Crazy. So over the weekend and into this week, we're 2 weeks out now when this is being recorded from the presidential election. We don't like to get political because that's not what we're about.
That's not what we do on Here for the Hang.
Yeah, we're still undecided voters.
That's right.
It's really who wants to legalize cannabis.
Yeah.
Because I bought stock in a cannabis company. I would love if it went up.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you well, we're gonna tell.
Let's come back to that.
We're gonna come back to that.
Let's talk about that so we can pump that price up. Yeah. We got a venture capitalist in here to spike that price. No, they both said they were going to do it, so I think we're good with either candidate from that perspective.
Yeah, but they know they have to say that.
Yeah, they have to say that. But so Elon is going to the battleground states, like swing states, so like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. And basically, there is a sweepstakes is what he's kind of framing it as, where he'll hand out $1 million to people who simply sign a petition that they support the First and Second Amendment. Okay. So freedom of speech and then right to bear arms.
All right.
And people at random are just getting chosen and winning $1 million each day until election day.
So it's at random. It's not
at random. Okay. Yeah,
but
you just got to sign it and you're a part of it. I don't know. It's crazy though. But like the you
got 2 undecided voters right here.
You got 2 undecided.
What can you do to sway me, Elon?
Which is weird that I'm still undecided. I don't know.
Talk.
I can't.
We can't talk politics.
I know. I just feel frozen by it though. Like the way we can't talk about it is the way I feel like I can't talk about it in walking everyday life with people.
Listen, Elon Musk, come tell us. I'll listen to your side, but I would like $1 million.
Listen, I love the Constitution. I'll sign that petition.
For it. I have a case full of guns at home that I cannot.
I don't have a case.
California.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Back at home. Yeah.
Yeah, in Mississippi.
Man, I need one for the apocalypse that's coming up soon. Can I have one?
Okay.
I need to
you're
borrow
gonna
one.
Want to. You and your wife are really gonna want to come to Mississippi if there is a apocalyptic situation, because nobody's like, we're good. We're good. Like,
that's a fact.
This is the thing. My firearms,
my collection,
have been inherited.
Yeah.
They've been passed down. And so there was a funny story after we had the passing of my grandfather and my uncle. There was a lot of firearms to be displaced.
Yeah.
And okay, so side note of the story, we had like an extra person at Thanksgiving this year.
Okay.
And so it was like all of our family, but plus this one bonus person. And
who shall remain mysterious.
Well, it's kind of a long. Okay.
No. Keep going. Keep going.
All right. So anyway, this person was out of the room whenever my aunt came in, and she was like, you know, since Granddaddy passed, like we do have some guns for y'all, and you know we're gonna like put them all out here, and then all the grandkids can kind of like choose what they want.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a literal, just like circle of guns during Thanksgiving.
Carlisle, I don't know that this is legal, man.
This is Thanksgiving in Mississippi, y'all.
It is.
This
is last year, exactly a year ago.
This is a couple years ago.
Okay.
And it was funny because the person who's not in our family like came back into the room. And we're all just kind of silently like surveying this weaponry. And I was like, I just looked at her straight face and I was like, now, Wanda, we play this every year. That's all I said.
That's all
no, I'm just kidding.
That's hilarious.
But we all had to choose one. And I was like, I have to fly back to LA. So I guess the knife is good for me. Can somebody mail it or
mail it to me? Yeah. I don't know how that works. Maybe you can do that.
Yeah. So mine are everything that I've inherited just stays there for the end of time, the end of the world, and then I'll go back and I'll claim it.
That's where the armory is for you.
So yeah, I'll sign Elon's thing.
I'll sign it. I get it. I think, oh gosh, it's hard to not get political when we're talking about anything,
Look,
gun related.
For $1 million, I mean.
For $1 million, listen, like responsible gun ownership, I'm all for it. And I think most gun owners are.
Have you fired a gun?
Yeah. I've gone to a gun range. Listen, I grew up in Seattle, suburb of Seattle, and we've talked about this. And obviously very liberal.
Yeah.
But also people, I think for the most part, Washington State, they support the Second Amendment. I don't think that's crazy. Like there was a whole block in Seattle during COVID that was shut down with people with guns,
Yes.
Yeah. So, oh God, I forgot what it was called.
What was it? I know. I was just thinking that too.
I don't know why I forgot. I should know this. Because I lived here for a decade. And
we try to block it out.
We try to repress that information. It's a long, shit. COVID, all that.
I kind of wish that I had one of those guns whenever they were doing the rioting by my house whenever I lived off of Fairfax. And
yeah.
Did we talk about that yet on another episode?
No.
I think we might have.
I mean, that was a crazy time. No, we haven't.
Oh my God.
We marched out there.
Yeah, the one time that I did a protest in my life,
yeah.
It ended in them lighting cop cars on fire. That was my very first protest ever.
This is wild. Which is wild.
It was insane. And there's still like a big burnt mark on Beverly where it started, where this one cop car was set on fire.
Yeah.
And every time I pass by it, I'm like, God, that was a crazy time. And they were tear gassing.
Yeah.
And I, like in this studio apartment that I used to live in, I had the 1950s windows that are like the glass slats, like, the ones your grandmother had that like you have to go like this to like close it.
Yeah.
You can't like shut the window.
Yeah.
So we're off.
Takes
Fairfax.
A while to do it.
Yeah. But even whenever you do it all the way, it's open like that much.
Yeah.
And so we're right off of Fairfax. Like Fairfax is here. Here's the alley where my dumb apartment was. This is like where people were running after, like there was like rioting, protesting, all this stuff. And so on that alley, they drove by with a tank and they were shooting the tear gas off to like disperse people.
Whoa.
And so I had to leave my place because the tear gas was like getting into the house.
That is wild.
And people were setting cop cars on fire and I wasn't sure how close the flames were going to reach to my apartment. So I got like things that would burn that were important, like pictures and like family heirlooms, like packed up all my guns. I'm just kidding.
Left one out just in case.
I remember like my ex-boyfriend got like his, music instruments and like guitars that were important to him, like packed everything up in the car.
Yeah, load the car up.
And then we just like drove west and went to Malibu.
Drove west.
And,
it seems like you're leaving and never coming back.
I know.
Then we just drove west.
We didn't know what was going to happen. And
no,
then
of
we went
course.
to, okay, so comedian Pete Lee makes an appearance in this story. Pete Lee, he's a hilarious comedian. Look him up on YouTube. He's got a funny page too. He had just moved into a place in Malibu.
Okay.
And so he and his then girlfriend, and we were like, we'll just go to Pete's house, And so my ex and I, we like drove with all of our stuff loaded in the car. This is pre-Chloe. We didn't have a dog at this point, thank God.
Okay.
And we just show up at Pete's house, and he was just moving into the apartment. And whenever you move in, you don't have internet.
Yeah, you got nothing.
And so he and his girlfriend, like, they literally didn't know like anything that was happening, and we just showed up like, we just escaped the fire.
That's
like,
so wild.
They were like, "What are you talking about?" We're like, "They're tear gassing Fairfax. There's the military coming through in tanks," and they were like, "What?" Like they just like thought we were crazy, and we were like, "No, like check it out. Those protests that they were saying were happening today, it didn't end very well."
Nope.
So
yeah, I remember
crazy day.
This crazy day. I remember we were on our way back from Utah. We had been in Utah because it was like we could be there. Yeah, talk about a great place to go if the apocalypse happens. I mean, the Mormons are prepared for it.
Yeah,
they have underground bunkers with food for years.
Yeah.
This is what they believe in. The second coming is going to happen.
Several messiahs are based there, I think.
So that's where that's where I'm going. Meet me in Utah. Or maybe
come on, Oxford, Mississippi. I'm telling you.
Well, we'll go.
Where it's at.
Yeah.
Come to my bunker. It's right outside Sardis Lake. It's the safest place on earth.
But it was crazy. That time was wild. I remember watching that on the news. I mean, we walked and marched in 2 different protests. One of the really, there was that weekend where it was like the big ones where they took that historic photo of everybody, whatever, right? And then it was really cool and powerful moment. It felt like it was unifying. I think we were the day after, which was really a bummer. We see it on CNN. We're like, that was up. We should have been there.
Missed that content.
One a day before.
Damn.
The weird thing was people doing it for content was real.
Of course.
It's wild.
Did you post a black square?
No, I didn't do that.
Canceled.
I know.
No, Hang Gang remembers this. The people that followed Here for the Hang season 1, I was doing episodes around this time. Okay. And there is an episode, if you go on our YouTube page, and you will see
subscribe.
This is where they did like a street takeover, which they still have those all the time. But I'm talking about like outside of my apartment, there was a street takeover because it was a lawless time.
Oh my God, dude.
With the cars spinning and everything. And like, I don't even think you need protests for that to happen these days. It's just like a Saturday night in LA.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I went outside and was like, it was like the first time I'd ever like been at one. Cause I was like, what is that sound? I just hear like a car screeching. And now I've seen enough people where like the car swings into the crowd and kills people. I would not do that. But if you go and look, there is a video of me just like running around screaming. I think we did like mute some of the audio because that sounded like such an idiot.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Just running around screaming, looking at the cars.
Oh my God, look at the
so sick.
It's very chaotic. People are hanging out of the cars, they're shooting off fireworks. You know what I'm talking about, street takeover.
Yes.
Do you guys have this in your hometowns?
Yeah.
This is an LA thing.
I don't know, man. That's pretty crazy.
Do they do it in Seattle?
Not that I know of. I really do think that's an LA thing. There are spots in LA you can go to and there's just no, like the LAPD is not going to respond quickly.
They didn't in our house.
If they ever do,
There were so many times.
Not that they haven't been helpful. I've had helpful LAPD officers too.
That's right.
Which is actually kind of crazy. Yeah. No, my car got stolen. Did I tell you this?
And what did they say? So sad?
This is a few years ago. My car got stolen. So first there was a night where all the cars in the locked parking garage in an apartment complex got broken into, right?
What? In the locked parking garage?
And they basically hopped a fence. They ended up finding out they hopped a fence over and then another fence and they got in and they were able to break into multiple cars. And, you know, I was kind of tripping because they went through our stuff, my car, my wife's car. And then,
what did you have laying out?
dude, I didn't really have,
fault,
I didn't have anything. They went through like the center console. They went through the glove box, like all of that. Right.
Okay.
And so then, you know, we kind of, I don't know, you just feel violated. You just feel dirty, you know, but we had to go to work. So we cleaned our stuff up. We went to work, came back from work. We're hanging out, cook dinner, go to sleep. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, I just have an uneasy feeling right now. Like, I'm going to go check on the car.
Okay.
So I go downstairs to the parking garage and my car is gone.
What?
Gone. Yes. Like I parked it. It was gone. I'm like, what the fuck?
How did they do it? They just jump it?
So, I mean, I ended up finding out they basically, you know, there was like a key fob imitator that you could get that would work with this specific model of car that you could use and you could get it started and whatever else. But I walk outside and the LAPD is right outside and I walk up and I'm like, yo, my car was just stolen. And they're like, are you Bryan Agnew? And I was like, yes. They were like, your car was just used to steal another car. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we caught the guy who was stealing the other car, but the guy who was in your car got away. And I was like, that's dope. But also I was kind of like, oh no,
You're
dude.
like, she runs fast when you open her up.
I was like, I've opened her up a few times, my man. I got it up to 130. I knew you were going to catch that. I thought about that many times. No. But I had this insurance for my car. And it tracked the car, it's called Metro Mile. Like you plugged it in underneath the dashboard and it would track where your car was going. You could track your mileage. So you could then you wouldn't have to pay so much for insurance if you were driving less that month, whatever. I pulled this app up and I'm like, guys, I know where my car is because I have it. I was like, would you guys be willing to go get it? And they're like, we got to check with our captain. And I was like, okay, he's like, we'll check. And so I was like, okay, sick. And so
it's just doing donuts on Fairfax.
It's just doing donuts on Fairfax, dude. No, but these guys came up and they hung out in our apartment for like an hour and we're chopping it up.
The cops.
They had gotten approval from their supervisor and they went and they found it at a chop shop outside of a chop shop in Sunland.
What is a chop shop?
Basically, they like chop the car up for parts and they sell it.
Chicken cutlet. What are we talking about?
They got chicken cutlets there. They got, pretty much anything you find at Jersey Mike's.
Salad.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm thinking of.
Chop shop.
Is that what it is?
Not chop stop.
No,
Sponsor us.
They cut it up for parts.
They tried to. Didn't happen. Cops found it, took us there, rode in the back of a police car. My wife's first time, not mine.
Whoa.
God bless. No charges were filed. Yeah. And recovered it. Lots of ash from cigarettes in there. Guy was anxiously smoking and just putting them out just relentlessly.
Come on.
In
the car?
Yeah, dude. It took me a while to get the smell out, but...
Can I just tell you, that happened to me once in a different scenario. Okay, so I've had many a job, as we know. And I used to
She's a journeywoman.
Yes. Jack of all trades. Now... the reason why I do not drive for Lyft anymore and why I will never let anybody into my car again is because whenever I had the Toyota Scion,
reliable.
R.I.P. Bebe was her name.
Man, that was a good car.
You remember Bebe?
You had that car for so long.
So long. I mean, I paid that car off. That's how long I had it.
You know when you
I owned that car.
You owned that car. I think, yeah, that car owed you money.
Yeah.
Like... I would see that car. I still see that car to this day. And I think of you.
Yeah, listen, Toyota's solid.
It's kind of wild when you see something and you have that association, especially if it's like a product.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's Carlisle, man. Every time I see a gray Toyota Scion with the
little toaster on wheels.
Little duct tape to get the mirror there.
Oh, always. And have you noticed every time you see a Toyota Scion, they have some kind of a fixed
something.
Yeah, because the handle would always break because it's just plastic.
Well, thankfully,
like a toy.
Yeah, I mean yours was like a dark gray, so duct tape blended in perfectly.
Just blended right in there. Still looked luxurious. But no, I used to drive for Lyft, and I had these people that I took for. This was like late night. I get off from my bartending job, and I'm like, let me go drive for a while and see if there's anything.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 a.m. and I get a ping from the Hollywood Hills. So I'm like, oh, classy. Guess the party's ending up in the hills. We'll go up there.
Yeah.
Get up there. It's 2 Asian people. Nothing against the Asians, just a detail in the story, okay? Didn't speak a lot of English. Wasn't a lot of communication happening. They just put into the app where they're going. They're going to Irvine.
Okay.
Now, I know we have people watching that are not in California. Irvine is not Los Angeles.
No,
It
it's
is
far.
a different town. It is a different county. But I'm like, it's 2 a.m.
It's a good fare.
It's a good fare. I remember it was $65.
Right.
For that one drive. And I
You
was
made
like,
65 off of it.
that was the base,
Oh,
and
that's
then you
dope.
figure they're going to tip.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what else am I going to do? Sure, why not? And the Scion had been through a lot, and I was just like, screw it. So they asked me, can we smoke? Okay to smoke?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's just, thinking they're going to tip me. Like, I didn't think that I would have to say ash out the window.
What?
They ashed all in the back seat and the floorboard. Like, who does that?
Oh my gosh.
So of this $65 fare, I didn't, I had to pay to get the car detailed.
$60 for a detail.
$60 down the drain. I think it was probably more. And it just smelled horrible.
Dude. It ruins it.
I'll never let people in my car again.
Like strangers. Like I can get a ride if I need a ride.
Look, we'll talk about it, but
right.
I'm not going to promise anything. I know you had the Taco Bell and there's smells happening. I'm just saying, like, I'm cautious. I'm cautious with OJ.
I know. I feel like it's just coming out my pores. All that bean burrito.
It's almost out.
That Crunch Wrap Supreme.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have that.
Please sponsor us, Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Yeah.
So that's why I don't drive for Lyft anymore.
But you do the
I do Uber Eats.
You do Uber Eats.
Yeah, because I'm killing it.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Have you ever eaten a fry if you go and get up some McDonald's, for instance, and you're hungry?
Listen.
Have you ever gone in there and been like, let me get a fry?
People ask me this all the time. They staple it all across the top of the bag. Do
you have a stapler to you know what I mean?
No.
Staple remover, staple.
That's so gross.
It's gnarly. I worry about that, but then I don't really worry about that because it's like, if I'm ordering Uber Eats, I'm usually in a spot where I'm like, it's fine. Whatever happens with this.
They can have a fry or two. I'm paying $30 extra.
It could be lukewarm. I'll still eat it. I mean, it was $50 for number 2.
I don't understand why people get fast food from any kind of delivery service.
It doesn't make sense.
I'm not going to say the name that I work for because I don't want to get kicked off. I don't want to keep saying it. But I
used to
work for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know why anybody would want fast food that's traveled miles and miles and miles. Like,
yeah,
if you really can't just get in your car and go get it while it's hot. I mean, or people order like egg things, and I'm just like, there's no way that this tastes good.
You don't deserve it.
That's all I'm thinking. I'm just like, did you really need this omelet?
You got to set the oven to broil.
Be traveled to you. It's just, there's no way it's going to taste good. You're paying 4 times the price of it now. It's
I know.
Just,
I kind of feel like everyone's Uber eating and or door dashing. Not like
everybody's
like they'll order it at some point, right? And maybe a lot, and then we're like, why is everything so expensive? And it's because you're literally spending $30 extra to not go anywhere.
Yeah, you're paying somebody.
It's not Kamala's fault, dude.
It's like you're literally paying somebody's wage whenever you could just go get it. And there's just rarely a time when I'm not like, you lazy.
I love Dairy
There was
Queen.
one time whenever I used to do it, and I was like, this person is so lazy, because the thing was like right down the street, and I was like, come on, are you serious? And then like I got there and I felt like such an asshole because they were like a physically challenged person, And I was just like, I'm going to hell.
Yeah, no, that's not a fun place to be.
It's like, why did I? And I was like, the whole way I was just like, I can't believe they can't just, it's right there.
Isn't that always how it works though? When you're the most pissed off or like,
Yes.
you know, in a situation where you're just raging, that you find out something that sobers you up real quick to it. And you're like, oh, I'm a dick.
People, you're like, thank God. And it was the one time I think that I actually felt like I was doing a good thing.
Yeah.
Doing that.
That was the only time.
Just versus just, you know, thinking about my poor choices in life and my spending.
Well, we all make them. This is America. Yeah.
It's pretty full circle because we did start talking about fast food and now
we're back on to fast food.
Here we are ending with it.
Nice little button on that.
It's a button of sorts.
Yeah. I like it.
We have a lot more topics to cover on our future episodes.
Yeah, lots more.
Really want you all to be here for the hang every time because it's always a fun hang.
Yeah, just come chill, you know?
Just come hang out. You know, we don't get into a lot of, what would you say?
Not really
divisive subjects.
Not substance, really.
Yeah.
We're just trying to like ease the tension till post-election day. Then maybe we'll start talking about stuff.
But aren't you looking for that? Like, I know I am. So
I am too. No, I don't want to look at everything has to do with that right now.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's too much. It's like everyone's screaming at you kind of.
It's like, nice to have a break from all that and just come and hang.
Just chill.
You know, there's no hook. It's just a hang.
Hang gang.
And on that note, thank y'all for being here for the hang.
Thank you guys.
I'm Carlisle Forrester.
I'm Bryan Agnew.
Bye, y'all.
Till next time.